What I always say is that I know how to manage my crazy. So, but on
Mm-hmm.
any given day, you might get 4%.
You might get 4% of it.
You might get 4%.
Okay.
And that's as far as I'll let it go. I might get to a 6. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get all the way crazy. I know how to handle it.
You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Blind spots.
Okay.
There were areas. See, there's a difference. Sometimes people keep going around saying that I'm just being misunderstood. People don't get me. They don't understand me. But really, a lot of times those are blind spots, that every criticism isn't 100% negative. There's always an element of truth in the
Mm-hmm.
criticism that you receive. And so the question becomes, how can you find the truth in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the criticism, in the midst of the failure, and build upon that so that you can become better and not repeat the same mistakes over and over?
So, were there people giving you constructive criticism that you ignored, or what?
Oh, and it wasn't constructive.
Or
You know,
what?
people wasn't always constructive, and it wasn't always good or positive. Like even within my divorce, um, that was the biggest fight of my life. I had never been through that much arguing and pettiness and back and forth, and will you get on my nerves, and just purposely trying to do something, wishing someone would not be alive or wishing harm on them. We even got into a fight, a fist fight, where I was defending myself, and I ended up getting put in jail for the first
What?
time in my ever life. Yes,
Hold on, hold
yes,
on. How? He said you
because he
attacked him,
lied. Yep, he lied.
but usually the cops believe the lady. They don't
It was a
believe the
woman
guy.
cop. It was a woman cop.
Oh wow.
And he lied,
Okay.
and he had one of the kids lie for him.
So they came to the home. It was the
No, we were we
disturbance.
were we were at Publix. Okay, so you want to talk about ratchet,
No, no,
ghetto?
y'all wouldn't. No, we
Bruh.
wouldn't. Yeah, give me another bruh, because that was,
Bruh.
you was in
Hey,
Publix.
I have been the girl where they be like, ooh, getting their phone out, watching ghetto ratchet. No, you
Wait a minute.
ain't. You don't know.
Were
Listen,
you
I
in
have been that
line
girl.
or one of the aisles? Were you in line
We
or
were
was you?
outside in the parking lot.
Oh wow,
Mhm.
got ugly.
Yes. Yeah, because I didn't know how to handle that level of stress, pressure, and once again, we have when you have conflict with someone, it's not that that person is always wrong. Yes, there's an element of truth, and so I had to realize, okay, Natasha, you got too many triggers. And why is it that when he says this, you respond that way? Why does it even matter what he says? Why does it matter what he do? Why do you have to control everything? Why is this even an issue?
Wow.
And so I had to deal with me.
And you learned you well. I don't know if you got 100%. I mean, you've 100% changed, but you currently dealing with yourself, or do you feel like I'm good. I've defeated that
No,
demon.
I feel like my issue now is that I have literally eliminated almost every trigger that produces a toxic or negative behavior. But my issue now is reestablishing vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
because now I have built up such a media face and a
Mm-hmm.
politically correct way to say things and to be and behave, that it's very hard for me to trust, to let my guard down and be genuinely vulnerable. Does that make sense?
Wow.
Because I can be vulnerable to a certain extent, but you're not going to get in here to the point where you're going to be able to break my heart.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. So, by the way,
yeah.
though, if anybody have footage of that Publix, you should send it to me. If you see her, say, "That's that lady."
Oh,
Yeah. Make sure
woo!
make sure you send that to me.
Listen, and it's been and that was just the one that the police was actually called on. It's been so many little situations, and I didn't know I was petty. I did not know I had a petty bone in my body, because I would just pray it away. Like, Lord Jesus, I'm gonna go on this fast, and I'm gonna just trust the Lord, and I'm gonna turn the other cheek, and I'm gonna be silent and allow a soft answer to turn away wrath. Uh-uh. I was like, Oh, you got something to say? Oh, I'm gonna clap back. I mean, I turned into full-fledged black girl. Tasha
so
showed
so
up.
did Tasha show up?
Tasha Mo, yes.
So do
Tasha
you
from
guys
Memphis.
talk now?
Oh yeah, we're great at co-parenting. We're great at
Wait a minute, wait a minute,
co-parenting.
wait a
Oh
minute,
yeah.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You say Memphis?
I was born in Memphis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you
Bruh.
already know a little country, a little crazy. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
God.
What my
At borderline of Memphis and Mississippi, I call it
Mhm.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Don't tell,
hilarious.
don't tell me you lived in North Memphis. Just don't tell me that. Then everything
It
else.
was North Memphis. It
Oh
was North
wow.
Memphis. Yep. Yep. And so what I always say is that I know how to manage my crazy. So, but on
Mm-hmm.
any given day, you might get 4%.
You might get 4% of it.
You might get 4%.
Okay.
And that's as far as I'll let it go. I might get to a 6. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get all the way crazy. I know how to handle it. But
Did you say y'all conversing now? Y'all talking or what?
oh yeah, we do great with co-parenting now. I mean, because he's remarried. So now that he's remarried, he's the best version of himself,
Okay.
which is great. And I can handle that. And once I got over the fact that this woman is taking my ready-made family on, I was like, ma'am, like, and it used to be very difficult because I was like, I built this family, I trained him, and I made this, and you just riding off into the sunset. But go ahead on, boo. Do your thing because she's a very sweet young lady. I have no complaints or arguments about her at all whatsoever.
Okay. Good.
She loves my
So
babies.
okay. So somebody listening, and what do you do that just a person can say, okay, these are two things I can help you with? What would I know? I talked to you maybe 2 years ago, and you were talking about. Did
Mhm.
you do editing also?
I do. So I do marketing, but a part of marketing. So marketing is really all about not just making a connection with people, but
Mm-hmm.
building that relationship and allowing it to progress over time. It's just like meeting someone that you're attracted to and you're thinking, wow, I could see myself being with this person for the rest of my life. But that relationship doesn't just happen overnight. You have to be intentional about getting to know them, spending time with them. It's not just one sided, it's two sided. And then there's got to be levels of commitment that ascend, that grow over time. And so
Okay.
that's the same thing I do with marketing. You are attracted to a specific product or service for different reasons. It could be that you have an issue, a pain point, and that business or that product solves your problem and it eases your pain, or it makes you happy, it makes you laugh, it brings you joy or whatever it is, but it's a solution. Every business is a solution, every product is a solution. And the potential customer or client is ultimately attracted to it. But what happens with many people is they never show up. It's just like the woman who wants to be married, but she never leaves her house. What does she think the men are going to just come by her
Yeah.
front door and knock on, hey,
Yeah.
I'm looking for a
Yeah.
wife.
I'm
And
looking
can I
on. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Thought
So
about
you
you.
gotta get up, you gotta put some
Right.
clothes on, do
Yeah.
some makeup, do some hair, pull yourself together,
Yeah.
and show up in a space where you can be seen and connect with people. And that's literally what a lot of people, they never do. They never tell someone that, hey, I have a business, I have a product, I have this thing, I have this book. And so I help kind of push people out of the nest and get them out there. A lot of times that's social media. And then once you're out there, it's all about building that relationship. It's not just one sided, but it's two sided. And
Okay.
building a
Okay.
relationship with
So
people. Yeah.
how would you get me out there with my show, with the really big elite psyche show? What would you do first to get me out without hitting me across the head with a bat? Because I think I talked to you maybe
Yeah.
2 years ago, and you hit me with like a $50,000 bill or something. You said, I'm like,
Ah, yep,
ooh.
yep,
I'm like,
yep.
so I'm like,
For one
let
year.
me
Yep.
call you right back. No, I thought it
But
was for one day or something. You hit me across the head with that.
but yeah,
So I'm
but you
like,
know how much money you would have made on top of that if you would have did what I
well, see,
told you to
that's
do.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
The
where would
first
you?
thing I would
What,
do, the
uh-huh.
first thing I would do with Elite Psyche would be the
Mm-hmm.
first thing. If you go to RuPaul's Drag Race or if you go to Tyra Banks, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to give you a makeover. They're
Okay.
going to fix your outer exterior, your appearance. They're going to comb your hair, probably color it,
Right.
dye it, do some
Right.
things. They're going to give you a new wardrobe, get rid of all your old clothes. And so I would say start with your brand. What do you look like? Yeah.
Okay.
Start with your brand, start with your logo, start with the design, the elements of things.
Which by the way, I don't really have a logo. I just got
Mhm.
that Elite Psyche, which I consider my logo, up in the corner of the screen there. But I
Mhm.
really don't have. I started on creating one, and then
Mhm.
we stopped because I went back and forth. So I never did really. And I said the other day, I said that might be my logo, but I'm sure you're gonna say that's not a logo.
That's not.
That work on this one.
It
It's
is
not
for
a
now.
logo. Yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, I've been looking at it for a while. I think Valerie created that for me. So, but that was just, you know, to start the
Mhm.
podcast. So she put it. So I never really designed the logo yet. And
Yeah, you like the lady who wear cornrows, like set it off, and then it just go on an old wig when she got to go to the grocery store. It works, you know.
okay, do I need
She got a little
Elite
synthetic
Psyche?
wig on. It's all good.
Do I need an Elite Psyche website also?
It would be great to have some sort of connectivity between the things that you do and the services that you provide. So without knowing the details of all of that, I will say just in general, having connectivity is very important so that whatever business you have is aware that, okay, you have a podcast and that people on the podcast are aware of your business. And just making sure there's some connection.
Okay, so can I have any fun on my social media? Because at one point, Instagram was kind of Elite Psyche. My Facebook was kind of, so now my Instagram, I just have fun. I put up all kind of stuff. Do I have to be on every social media post Elite Psyche? Do I have to be?
I think once again that goes back into your strategy. So I would have to just know more about where you're headed and what your goals are. So because
Okay.
that could be yes or it could be no. But typically having a diverse array of conversation or communication is really important. You know, if you go to a networking party and as soon as I show up, I shove a plate of food in your face without even saying hello, asking your name, asking you how you're doing today. That's going to be pretty rude. But that's what a lot of times people do. They just shove food in people's faces all the time. They're like, oh, are you a chef? Like, do you cook? Are you a nutritionist? Like, nope, this is just what I had to eat yesterday. Like, that's so irrelevant. That has nothing to do with
We,
what.
we used to say in our business, I guess we still say it in our network marketing business, that somebody asks you a question, you know, asks you for a glass of water, you stick a fire hose down in.
Exactly.
I just wanted a glass of water. I don't want you to fire hose me in here, you know? So
Yes.
that's kind of like what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying that there needs to be a natural progression. Just because it's digital doesn't mean you lose any common sense. You know,
So
you meet someone for the first time, say hello. Hey, how you doing? Good to meet you.
Speaking of that, we've been talking lately a little bit about dating and stuff. So what's your thinking on dating apps? Do you use dating apps?
Yes.
You do?
I just started probably 30 days ago on a dating app.
What's your experience so far?
I've met some really nice people. I have. But partially because I don't spend a lot of time there and I limit my interactions. So I'm not going to have more than 10 names in my inbox that I'm looking at or communicating with, because that's just overwhelming. And then I start weeding them out.
Yeah, I heard about that. I've never seen a dating app, never been on, but I had a partner of mine said that he would leave and come back and it'd be like 60 likes or something. He's like, I can't respond to all those people. I can't. It's just too overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming.
So what about your Instagram DM? Do you get hit?
Not as much anymore. So one of the things that I started doing, or I stopped doing, is I took a break from really just sharing my everyday life. And one of the things about my everyday life was my workout schedule.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.